Lesson 4. Assigning material property to ray tracing. In this lesson, you will recall the primitive shape of the made previously make of the region of the two primitive shape of the assignment of the material property for the primitive shape of the command window. Create the graphic green of the draw of the new region. Ray tray for the design from the GUI window of the GUI to chamber the layer for the graphic window to create the geographic window after the retracing of the model. 1. Open the database. The recall of the primitive shape of the road previously left of the MGD file with the menu with the select for the open the control. Open will appear with a list of the folder. Select for the shape of the G. For the shapes G for the database. Open the news box will appear with you should click on the O. You should also now have the two windows prominently displayed on your screen. MGD prompt for the command window. Type of the draw sphere name 2 with the right cylindrical 2 enter. Creating a region. Before you the reshape of the design, you will have to make the region with the two shape of the region, the object with the uniform materialist property, most applicable for the Bureau of CAD. Give the region for the basic component for the module of the region for the constructed U for the basic holding operation unit intersection subtraction when they discover the next chapter. Alright, MGD prompt for the right space sphere make sure that key the information correctly before entering for the lack of the creating region shape 2, region shapes 2 for the region shapes 2 and the right cylindrical shape 2 name sphere. This command tells the MGD will make the R for the region shape 2 and R for the names of two shapes of the region, and add the volume of the shape is U. Add the volume of the shape of the sphere. Number 2 for the add the volume of the shape of the volume of the shape. And the right cylindrical 2, the added sign of the material property of the region. Now type the material mater dot shapes 2 region. Enter MGD will show the shader delete to delete the CR to skip. Type in plastic. Enter the MGD will color no color specify the color RGB with the 2.525 delete with the CR to skip. Type in 0255 enter will assign the light green color to region. MG will now ask the inherit 0 lower nodes toward level to override inheritance of 0 to 1 CR skip. Type 0 to enter. You with complete with these several commands. Your command window will show the look like the following example. Alright, MG drawing sphere with the 1 and 2 name number 2 the vectors speed of the computer. MGD shaping shapes 2 your and then your region shape of the 1, right, shape 2, sphere 2, the very cylindrical 2, material shading, plastic color, and also inheritance. Online version of this set command will be entered material shape 2, the plastic 0255 diagram 7, the sign of the material property of the region called shape number 1, making the region shape of the plastic, given the color light green. 0 design inherit colors of the material type. 4 graphic window for the drawing the new region. And an easy way to get clear with the graphic window for the older design, draw the new region at the top of the MGD prompt. The B shape 2 for the region, enter the command, show for the B, show for the blast, clear the graphic window for the drawing. And shape 2R with the region with the name of the shape, and the region's name and shape 2 of the R region. The last command is shorthand with the combination zap and the draw commands. Retrace your model now. Go to the file menu with the select the ray trace. A dialog called the ray trace control panel will appear at the top of the menu for the frame buffer, the objects and so for the frame buffer. The draw down menu will appear in the 6th choice for the active all rectangular area overlay interlay underlay. Make sure the active and all underlay options are activated and shown in the presence of the red indicator left at each of the choices are selected. OK. Note, when you select the reshape of the dialog window, you can start with the auxiliary program of the RT. Over the Bowler card package, the program ray traces objects that have been drawn on in graphic windows. They have been many shaped with the region combination for the database, but they aren't currently drawn in the. You may have any shape of the region combination for the database, but if they are not currently drawn with the graphic window, the ray trace will ignore them. Change for the background color produced for the ray trace is like for the background color for the ray trace control panel. The drop-down menu will appear with the predefined color shape for the plus for the color tool. Select the white option, select the button shown now. They appear for the white in accordance with the year selection. Next, you select ray shape for the 4 options along on the bottom of the box. The graphics window should start changing. You will see the design shape of the green with the wireframe support of the design and shown in the following example. Alright, your ray trace shapes. Also, if you're using specifically background color ray trace image, you can also enter frame buffer, the background color. To do this, select with the design color, click the frame buffer clear with the bottom of the ray tracing control panel. Alright, your frame buffer clear with the FB clear, that's the command prompt. 6. Changing a layer of the graphic window. The graphic window of the MGD is usually displayed with a different type of the graphical information. 3D wireframes, 2D pixel and images. So the concept of the each of the type of the data occupied with the separate layer of the display with the 3D wireframes occupied the wireframe over the 2D pixel, the image occupying the frame buffer. The layers of the thought with the transparency in order in which they are stacked and displayed, but they can be changed. The previously mentioned previously, the frame buffer mentioned for the ray trace control panel at the top of the menu with the toggle button labeled active with the display of the frame buffer layer on and off at the bottom of the same menu with the radio button with the overlay, underlay with the underlay model is selected with the pixel that is displayed behind the vector data. Conversely, when the overlay model is selected, the pixel data is from the vector data with the interlay option. Some of the overload mode, the subtle difference for the advanced topic not covered here. This shows your frame buffer underlay and your frame buffer overlay mode. To see how these work, go to the frame buffer menu with the select overlay. Now the wireframe representation disappears. Where does it go? If you answered behind the frame buffer, you would be correct. If you view the model's geometry, you would have to make the frame buffer inactive to select the underlay mode. The wireframe layer has yellow and a dot in the center. That marks the center of the view. The talk within lesson 2 for this allow to determine whether the frame buffer is in overlay underlay method. If you could see with the yellow with the frame buffer, the underlay with the mode, you can have the MGD, same with the geometry graphic window, same with the remain blank, with the probably seen with the blank frame buffering, masking wireframe layer. Note that as you change the view of the wireframe with the view of the frame buffer, it does not automatically update with the match files, non-possibly directly manipulate the view of the frame buffer, the ray trace, again with the ordered update with the frame buffer image. Alright, 7. Clearing the graphics window. Clearly clear the graphics window that you handle both wireframe and frame buffer layers. Recall the clear of the wireframe letter with a Z command or the frame with a Z command or zap command. The frame buffer layer will then there's a FB clear button with a retrace control panel. In some instances, you may refer to turn off the frame buffer instead of the clearing it when the frame buffer is turned on. The MGD runs faster because it does not have the redraw of the frame buffer each time in the update for the display. You can turn the frame buffer on and off by toggling active item with the retracing control panel transfer framing menu. The Berlicate conversion for the 5.1 later turning on the frame buffer that does not destroy the image and turning in the back of the display with such image. However, the early version of the package contains with the frame buffer left when it's turned off. Review. In this lesson, recall the primitive shape that may previously make a region with the two primitive shape with the sign of the material property with the primitive shape of the command window clear with the graphic window with the draw of the new region retrace your design with the GUI. You with the GUI chain with the layers for the graphic window, the chain with the graphic window with the retracing model. Lesson 5. Learning about Boolean expressions.